The textile industry has been centred in the Scottish Borders for a very long time.
Going back really for centuries.
Galashiels obviously was a great place to build the textile industry.
There's a huge farming community here built on the textile industry.
The mills were powered by the rivers. Well, the soft water of the Scottish Borders in the rivers was great for washing the fabrics to make them so luxurious.
It's a landscape that inspires and that drives design and innovation.
You know, we have wonderful forests, we have fast-flowing rivers, beautiful skies in the evening.
Textiles kind of grew up, in this area.
The reasons were more complex than just the landscape and the raw material. We had the people and the entrepreneurs.
This exhibition looks at the ways in which we can think about the narrative of Galashiels through its history of textiles. The landscape of Galashiels, through that you can read its textile history. You can follow that and trace that in quite small everyday ways, like the water retail park, and there's the old water turbine there, the old mill buildings still dotted around the landscape, and then the Great Tapestry of Scotland, which is the new addition to that heritage.
The important thing that we want to do here is create a sense of pride, a place of community and engagement.
One thing that's always been important for the textile industry in the Border has been the sense of community down here. Families joined the industry and kept it going, and the longevity of people working in the industry. They developed the skills that developed the quality products that the Borders became known for.
It's, I suppose, in my blood. My father owned a textile mill in the town called Kemp Laird Company Limited, which is where I started way back a long time ago. 10 years ago I decided it was time to set up our own business, and we started to manufacture here in the Borders.
There's an amazing kind of community of people in all the little villages and all the towns around Gala and within Gala. In terms of local identity, I think we've got a very innovative community.
The manufacturers were brave, and they always have been brave about innovating techniques.
When you kind of see the diversity of work that goes on and the people that are drawn to Ayr precisely because of that, then you actually see a really creative, artistic place.
So we're thinking about all of the different components of the community that we can bring into this project.
So we really wanted to engage younger people to create an outfit that reflected their personal relationship to Galashiels. Garments, are a fantastic way of expressing who we are. Some of the designs that were produced directly linked to that kind of key things like raw landscape, so use of black and white, through the Gala water, so use of kind of flowing of the river in the garments. So the landscape of the Scottish Borders really shapes the culture. You can see in the students have come to study.
Scottish Borders campus is one of the oldest textile institutions in the world.
There's some unbelievable talent comes through there. The facilities are second to none, and in my opinion one of the best in the world.
To reach out to Heriot-Watt was perfect.
And what was their processes of storytelling, how they can do that visually.
So I was designing for wallpapers, curtains, cushions, and I basically foraged to bring the outdoors inside. I did spore printing. So the mushrooms that I did find, I removed the stems and I just placed it onto paper, and they basically soak up the fluid, and then it created stylized lines, and then I photographed them and stylized them a bit more on Photoshop. So it created a texture and created like a 3D look.
I've seen a huge amount of innovation within the last couple of years because of what's happened. They've had to be really resilient, they've had to be really resourceful. So I actually think our graduates are just getting better and better.
We set a brief with the third year students.
And that was based on Bernard Klein, sustainability and space-side yarns.
From my research on Bernard Klein, I instantly saw a common theme of rusty colours, and I was photographing rusty objects on the street, and then that in itself was already creating a pattern for me to then knit.
My inspiration for my final designs were mostly the Scottish Borders landscapes, but I focused mainly on nighttime scenes to get like the purpley blues that match with Bernard Klein's work.
That was just in my sketchbook, kind of doing development through like collage, mixed media, stuff like that. From that I took my designs into like the knit workshop, began trying different samples, trying different yarns, techniques. I then cut my favourite things and brought that into more resolved pieces. Sustainability was really important in the project because when I was collecting the rust, I put them in my iron mordant, which had basically cleaned off the rust. So then I was able to like give people like brand new screws and nails. I was getting a mordant that was helping my dyes, but at the same time cleaning junk that was on the streets.
We were able to select 3 winners, and the plan is to take their ideas all the way through the manufacturing process.
What's being produced in the Borders is actually impacting the entire global textile industry.
To follow one thread could take you so many different directions.
Businesses like Sinclair Duncan Textiles will take their new ranges to Paris, to New York, to Milan, and throughout the world.
The legacy from the Scottish Border will always continue because it's so inset with the tartans and the tweeds.
The Borders textiles are famous across the design world.
From a lot of couture houses like Chanel,
Armani,
Louis Vuitton.
In the States, or you look in Japan, or you look anywhere in Europe, and ranges and catwalks,
All the big names that you could imagine.
there is always tweed or tartan involved. But not just the fashion, also the sportswear companies, Nike and Adidas, are using tweeds in their training shoes. It's amazing how things just evolve.
That textile heritage itself is of course always rooted in larger global networks of industry, going back thinking about industrialism and imperialism. It's connected to all of those stories. Those histories and heritages are still part of shaping the present and can be used to explore the potentials of creating sustainable futures.
The industry is becoming obviously more aware of environmental issues.
And that's something that we need to address moving forward. Right back the supply chains to where the raw material is being sourced. Is it being sourced sustainably?
The Made in Scotland label has a good reputation, and I feel like this will become more and more important as we start acting upon these issues.
A lot of research going on in terms of developing sustainable fibres and sustainable processes.
The last sort of 10 years, it's actually been quite positive. And again, that sense of innovation and design, that's what sustains the industry now, is using the best quality fibres, good design, great marketing and skills that are here in the Borders. That's what keeps things going.